Here we go, guys, in 3, 2, 1. And Dr. Cole, next topic, our next guest, Patrick Pauley from Athletico. He is the head athletic trainer for the Chicago Dogs professional baseball team, as well as the Midwest Orthopedics at Rush Sports Performance Center, which I'm getting hearing rave reviews.
It's awesome there, yeah. I'm
going to start there myself.
Yeah, so Steve's a little over 2 weeks. I can share. We've been online. We actually took your stitches out online, so it's okay now. No HIPAA violation,
live
right?
on the radio, last week.
Okay. So, yes, you're going to do your physical therapy there. It's a beautiful facility on York Road in Oak Brook. It's a large space, big windows. The therapists are wonderful. It's a happy environment to do your rehab. It's the best health club environment for physical therapy you've probably seen. So you'll love it there. I can't wait for you to go.
Yeah, people have told me about it. I've gone past it, and it looks amazing.
It's just
I'm excited to do the therapy there. I really am.
You will.
Well, let's bring on Patrick. And Patrick, I want to talk a little bit about the Chicago Dogs professional baseball team. They had their first year in that beautiful ballpark in Rosemont. How did it go year number one?
Year number one was a lot of fun. We got off to a little bit of a slow start, but made some personnel changes along the way and got more comfortable with the team. And we always said if we had like another month of the season, we would have definitely been a threat to the playoffs for sure. Yeah,
Patrick was great to work. You were a pitching coach at one point, is that right?
Yeah, so I was a pitching coach in high school for 7 years.
Yeah, so he's got an amazing baseball IQ. Greg Nicholas and I were the team physicians for the Chicago Dogs. And, fortunately, we only had a couple of injuries, but a lot of players come through it, and just to get stability. But your knowledge is amazing, and your baseball IQ is amazing. So I've learned a lot from you, and I appreciate it. One of the things we wanted to bring up today, this morning, was would you be able to just go over with us and our listeners the sort of the easiest thing for an athlete to prevent overarm throwing injuries, overhead injuries?
Yeah, sure. So, we know the majority of throwing-related injuries are chronic or overuse injuries. So the easiest thing, or the thing that's going to require the least amount of physical effort, is to make sure that you're not throwing too much. We need to make sure that our throwers are getting appropriate rest and recovery. And, USA Baseball and Major League Baseball combined to develop the Pitch Smart initiative, which offers pitch count and rest recommendations for all ages. It's a great resource. And then in addition to recovering between throwing sessions, it's also really important to recover after the season. You want to take like 2 or 3 months off from throwing. The American Sports Medicine Institute found that pitchers who compete more than 8 months out of the year were 5 times as likely to suffer an injury that required surgery. So that rest between starts and rest after the season is really important.
That's interesting. I actually didn't know. I'm always going on the fact of 10 months for a single sport. So they showed specific to pitchers that it was 8 months or more, not taking a break. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, competitively.
Yeah, very interesting.
Visiting with Patrick Pauley from Athletico and head athletic trainer with the Chicago Dogs professional baseball team. I'm Steve Cashel. Dr. Brian Cole at Sports Medicine Weekly. Give us some ways then, Patrick, to prepare the body for overarm throwing in order to prevent injury.
Yeah, so a comprehensive strength and conditioning program is vital for any kind of sports performance and injury prevention, particularly in throwing. Obviously, throwers want to strengthen the muscles of the arm like the rotator cuff, but we also have to make sure that we're strengthening the entire body. Throwing is about the transfer of force, basically from the lead foot up through the kinetic chain, the legs, the hips, the core, the back, all the way through to the other opposite hand. And weakness anywhere in the chain is going to force any other part of the body to work harder, like the shoulder or the elbow. And because the throwing motion is so dynamic, changes in the timing of the kinetic change due to that weaknesses can increase the load on the joints. So any training is going to need to incorporate balance and stability as well as range of motion. And we also know that pitching while fatigued can increase your risk of injury. So it's important to work on your aerobic capacity as well as your strength and your balance and your range of motion.
How does video analysis, Patrick, help with overarm throwing?
Yeah, Patrick, when you answer that, maybe share a little bit about what we put in at the Oak Brook facility. And I just want to make it's known that, Steve, you mentioned I'm going to go to an Athletico facility out by you. All of our physical therapists are Athletico trained.
Okay.
Yeah, and our trainers. So I'm curious, Patrick, when you look at the video analysis setup we have there, what are you doing and how is it working with our athletes?
Yeah, so, proper rest and recovery and appropriate strength and conditioning programs are integral for performance and injury prevention. But if you're not using the proper mechanics, there's a really good chance you're going to eventually get injured anyway. The good news is there's a lot of options out there for the throwing mechanics, whether it's using an app on your phone, or we've got, video throwing analysis at our Athletico clinics, as well as you mentioned, the Midwest Orthopedics at Rush Sports Performance in Oak Brook. So if we come in for a thrower's functional sport assessment, we'll do the video throwing analysis, and we'll look at the entire chain. But a big part of that as well is that we're going to look at your range of motion and your hips and your thoracic rotation and your shoulders and some different strength testings, because, you can look at the video analysis and say, oh, well, you need to do this. You need to get your foot over here. But there could be some physical limitations as to why you're not getting into that position. So the nice thing about that, the Sports Performance Center is that we also offer these follow-up sessions where we're going to target, you get one-on-one with myself or Dave. We're going to target any limitations that we're going to find there and work on those for your strength and your range of motion.
Great stuff. Patrick, out of time. Appreciate it. And again, visiting with Athletico's Patrick Pauley, head athletic trainer for the Chicago Dogs baseball team, as well as Midwest Orthopedics at Rush New Sports Performance Center. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you very much, guys.
Appreciate it. Coming up next on Sports Medicine Weekly, the staple of the show, Ask the Doctor. You get a chance to ask Dr. Cole a question. We'll tell you how to do it after this on Sports Medicine Weekly, only on
670 The Score.